Okay. So attribution, yeah. Maybe I can share. Wait a second. Okay, I think now is better. So, what I mean when I'm talking about attribution in BigQuery, and there are two complicated points that you need to take into account. The first one is like how uh, how some modern web counters or web analytics counters or services usually work, because in Google Analytics or in some different services, uh, attribution modeling becomes something like a black box. It just means that these services do not provide some kind of deep information about specific of the attribution modeling. For instance, in GA4, you have only two basic attribution models, last clicky data and data driven, and data driven is total black box. It just means that nobody knows how it works or how it should work or how shouldn't. And that's not a big deal if you do not rely on some, let's say, precise calculation. But if you do, it becomes a problem. And that is why the problem of building your own custom attribution models, uh, it it's just really crucial, because if you really want on it to build your own logic with 100% managing, you just need to build your attribution model, custom attribution model, and there are some specific, let's say, tools that are really valuable to this topic or to this task. And today I want to discuss the advantages of BigQuery and GA4 on BigQuery, particularly for attribution modeling. Yeah, I mean building custom attribution models. So, firstly, BigQuery is the part of Google Cloud Platform, as you know, and it just provides, in terms of GA4 to BigQuery export, really clear, not so clear, but really detailed and well organized data schema for GA4 events. And with some knowledge of, let's say, basic SQLs, you can extract a lot of data about your attribution, about how you can redistribute the credit between some channels. Yeah, and so and in this context, GA4 to BigQuery integration really valuable, because you can crunch your numbers in any way you want or need, and purpose for building and purpose of building really interesting or really insightful attribution models. So, and that is why I just wanna provide this sort of I don't know, some pieces of code or some of insights about attribution in BigQuery during these workshops. Yeah, and I think for the beginning it is enough. We're gonna go to the next slide. Okay, yeah, Google Cloud Project. Let me see. Any questions? Okay. So firstly, let's say let's begin from the scratch again. We need to begin from the scratch and from building our linking between GA4 and BigQuery. I bet you all are capable in linking your BigQuery and GA4 project, but I think I thought a lot, and I just decided that is important for the beginning, just to provide a quick I don't know, introduction or quick description about how to link your Google Cloud and your GA4 in BigQuery, in one BigQuery project. Yeah, so let's discuss something like something about the whole hierarchy. Yeah, BigQuery is a cloud-based database. Yeah, it's really fast, really quick, and it has really a straightforward interface, which makes it really straightforward, comprehensible for further education, I say, and for getting a lot of insight from your data. Sometimes it's really costly, but sometimes not. And what the really important thing that is straightforward and quick export between GA4 and BigQuery. And so that is why they still, by this way, they still becomes really important and really useful. So, but BigQuery is always was and now is a part of Google Cloud project, Google Cloud platform. And for getting an access via BigQuery, you just need to have a Google Cloud project. It's really it's not I say important, but with a Google Cloud project, you just cannot work with BigQuery. So and it's really straightforward. Let's try to uh try to begin. So if you need to set up your BigQuery, you need to begin from the setting up your Google Cloud project on cloud.google.com. Yeah, you need to push start free. Pick some specific account. That's mine. So after that, you just put some, let's say, password. Give me a minute. Okay, now you're in your Google Cloud. Do not pick Russia. Some reason Google doesn't provide services Google Cloud for Russian clients. So you can pick any country. I don't know, you live, for instance. Uh, push green continue, and after that you get $300 credit free, and it's really good because you can just spend it on all the Google services. And if you didn't have a Google Cloud account yet, I think definitely should do it. So after making a Google Cloud platform, Google Cloud account, you can pick it with, or you can link it with your billing account in Google Cloud. Yeah. I don't want to discuss it in this topic, but it's not so complicated. You just need to create a billing account and link it with your Google Cloud account. And what I'm gonna say is, you don't need a billing account or credit card for making some experiments or making some, let's say, data tricks with your BigQuery and GA4 to BigQuery export, because BigQuery provides, let's say, sandbox environment. It's totally free, and you can set up BigQuery GA4 to BigQuery export in sandbox and just work in this environment without any dollars that you can spend on it. So money is not mandatory, but there are some limitations for reporting, for let's say, period of saving your data. And if you're gonna work with BigQuery on a current basis, on a constant basis, my advice is to link it with some billing account. Okay. After that, you need to go to your Google Cloud. Okay, Google Cloud. console and switch on your BigQuery. For that, I always switch it in. You need to go to API and services, enabled API and services. I I have a BigQuery API. Okay, you need to find here BigQuery and just yeah, here it is. Enable it. Enable it. Okay. Um, I think that's not a big deal for you. So after you enable your BigQuery API, you need to link your GA4 account your BigQuery with your BigQuery in your Google Cloud. Okay, so it's also let's say straightforward and not so complicated. I'm gonna use my own project. So for proper linking between your big GA4 and BigQuery, you need to go to admin section. And here product links. Yeah, I always set it up. So, but you need to add your BigQuery link to GA4 to BigQuery link and put some like say option. You can pick daily and streaming. Daily is a full export of data takes place on once a day, and streaming is a continuous export within the same day. And if you didn't stop billing in your Google Cloud platform, you just not have an access to your streaming. It's not so crucial, but you just need to take it into account. And expert type for user data is also the opportunity of working with some sort of constant user data and BigQuery. Okay, after you set it up, you need to come back to your BigQuery API, uh, enable the API and services, and add some specific credentials for your service account. You need to create service account and name it like you can see in documentation firebase measurement system gserviceaccount.com. It's just tiny difference, but that also not so difficult, I guess. So after you add your service account, you push it down, and that's it. It just means that you set up your BigQuery GA4 to BigQuery link, and everything rest is just need a few, I don't know, just the day maybe on just a few hours for getting your data from BigQuery from GA4 to BigQuery. And I think the next day you're gonna go to BigQuery, pick your project. Yeah. And you can see your data set. It looks like analytics with some numbers, and you can see some tables. That's it. It just means your GA4 export does work, and you can go to preview mode and view some raw hits, and it just means that everything is good, and you set up your BigQuery export. Okay, so are there some questions about original export from GA4 to BigQuery? Okay, great. So I think we can continue. So there are a few attribution models. You can see just a few examples of them. Last click, last and direct click, first click, linear U shape, and so on. There are a few models. Firstly, I want to say that in current lesson, in current workshop, and further, we're gonna discuss only position-based models, and I want to tell you why. Because it's just really complicated to reveal all the stuff about some sort of machine learning or prediction or predictable attribution models. But if you, for instance, acquire some sort of knowledge about how to build custom attribution model with position-based principles, it just can, I don't know, can get you a lot of value. And after that, you can build everything you want on it in BigQuery in terms of some custom attribution models, for instance. Yeah, so I think, and my point is, attribution model with position-based principle is just basis for the whole bunch of tactics working with attribution, BigQuery on some different databases. It's just that mean. Okay, so my point is there are few attribution models like last click, last and direct click, and each business or each company has some, let's say, principles or some targets, and sometimes this company different can use some specific attribution model, for instance, last click, but it's really reasonable to change it from time to time. For instance, you can use last click for your e-commerce purchases, but for your media campaigns or reach campaigns or reaching out, let's say, you can use first click, or you can use linear attribution models for some multi-touch campaigns, let's say. So, and what attribution model you gonna use depends on the answer, depends on the, I don't know, what business you are in, or what stage of business you are in. And secondly, and it's really important, you need, and mostly you should change your attribution models from time to time. Yeah, and and one more point, and it's really important, attribution model it's not just a magic pill, but it's a tool which help you make really insightful, a really granular decision on your data. And it just doesn't something, it is not something that I don't know, cure you or make or get you a lot of purchases, for instance. Yeah, no, it just provide you some data, and you, and up to you, you can get a lot of insights from that. But it's just a tool, and the most important part is your decision, which could be based on attribution models. And it's really important to understand, because attribution, it's not a magic pill. You are making your own decisions on your data, and attribution models is just a tool for crunching some numbers. Okay, uh I think it's really important, but it's all, it is easy for proper understanding, I guess. Okay, so let's discuss, for instance, few attribution models, first click, last click, and how they work. Essentially, you can see on this slide, there are a few touches. For instance, first click begins from Instagram, I guess. After that, user goes from email or phone call, or just direct traffic. Yeah, and after that, he or she makes a purchase. And Okay, and last click works something like that. And so in the first option, we just bring all the credit or take all the credit. So we just provide all the credit to the first touch. So in the last click, attribution provide all the credit to the last touch, and it's really reasonable. So I think that's not a big deal, and we can continue. And according to this slide, uh, I want to tell you that the concept of touches is crucial for any attribution models with position-based principles. What I mean, for redistributing some value or some credit between some channels, you just need to understand the specific of touches, because you just crunching your numbers, you gonna redistribute credit between some touches, or let's say interaction with your product and with your website. And today I want to tell you what the touch is. What is? Yep. Okay, so what the touch is the interaction of your user with your website. Yeah. And in the web analytics, interaction is just a session. What the session is a bunch of hits. Page view, you see event, social interaction, and so on. And you can unite, you can uh, accumulate some specific events within one time frame in one session, and one session is just one touch. And it just means that for proper calculation of any custom attribution models, you need to sessionize your data, because you just need to picture it in a bunch of touches or in a bunch of sessions. And we just gonna we're just gonna discuss how to do it. So we begin from sessionizing our BigQuery export, and there are some tricks that you need to know from SQL for proper work with attribution modeling. Firstly, you need to know grouping principles. Yeah, how to group your data, how to aggregate your data. Also, you need to know how to work with CDE or subqueries, because you need to just build some subqueries, query within the query. You need to know how to work with window functions, with partitioning, and you also need to know how to work with table suffix, or let's say combining some data from different partition tables. And that's it. I think for beginning, it is enough. So I think we can go directly to BigQuery and try to make a session tables. But before that, I just want to know whether you have or not some questions. Okay, okay. There is no question. Okay, so let's delve deeper into our our build the process of building our session tables. Yeah, session tables, just a bunch of touches with some specific dimensions that you're gonna use for proper building of your custom attribution models. So you can see data set from just BigQuery, and it consists of some specific hits. Yeah, like session start, I think it's not a surprise. Page view, first visit, session start. You can see event params array, let's say, yeah, or record. Its format of BigQuery data, which could be nested or not nested. and some different dimensions or parameters. Yeah, and the point is combine all the heat in sessions, and we're gonna do it with some specific tactics. Firstly, we put query, yeah, and we just see the SQL, some specific SQL with our data set, and we can continue. Firstly, uh, okay, let's try to begin with that. Firstly, we need to combine all our hits with some specific dimensions. What do I mean? I just change my project. I use some operator for extracting data from a few tables. Yeah. Okay. So we make a query or subquery with some data, and I think it will be enough. Sorry, this query is not so well formatted, but after our video will after our video finished, I just provide you a record, video recording, and uh, the formatted query or the formatted piece of code. So in this query, we begin from querying user pseudo ID. It's just a user identifier. Yeah. After that, we make a session ID dimension with concat function, and then consists of user pseudo ID and GA session ID from event params. Yeah, and it is the session ID. It's just like an identifier or ID of our touch or our session. Okay. Uh, Event timestamp is just a timestamp of event. Event name, we don't need it. And it's just a collected traffic source dimension that we're gonna use for uh, for for making our attribution models. That I just mean that we're gonna distribute our value based on a collected traffic source, and it's quite a bit questionable, but I'm gonna discuss later. I think in the next workshop at least. Okay, that's also not something that we need. And I think we also need to calculate some conversion because when it not only hit, but the conversion that we're gonna use for distributing its credit. And we use, I just copy, I think. Mm-hmm. Okay, so with if function, yeah, you just need to pick some specific events which are is conversion for a business. I use form send, for instance, and calculate one if it is if this event is conversion and zero is not. Okay, and after that, we exclude some technical events like session start, user engagement, first visit, and so on. That's not something that we really need for any attribution models, but because it's just a technical event. Okay, so let's try to perform it. Okay, so we see combination of user observer ID, session ID, timestamp of event, uh, collect medium, and the mark of conversion. Okay, we also can a little bit work with collected traffic source. It just means that we do not know null values for collected medium. Okay, so the next step we're gonna do is numbering of hits within the session. So we just gonna pick or just gonna mark each hit within the session with some specific number. Or other by the word, we just try to make an order of hits in a session. We're gonna do it in purpose of picking the first hit in the session and all the stuff with collected traffic source and some different dimensions. We're gonna extract from the first hit of the session, and is also it's also not so difficult. I use subquery window hits, and in window hits, we just tell BigQuery give me all the data from the hits, yeah, table, and put the hit number just above each hit or above each event. I don't know, and it makes with it could be made with the raw number and with let's say per window function. We just take our session and put a specific number in specific order for each event of hit number, and also calculating sum of conversion with the same window. Okay, so I think it's also straightforward and not so difficult. Let's try to perform it. Uh-huh. Okay, so we see a bunch of hits with some numbers 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 within the same session ID and with collected medium. Okay, I think it also not so complicated. And now all we need for getting our session tables is just extracting the first hit from each let's say session, yeah, and it will consist of some specific dimensions related to this session or this touch and the total amount of conversion for this particular session. And so it's also straightforward. You can say select all from window hits, except hit number. You just tell BigQuery do not extract hit number. You put the condition of heat number equal 1, and you can make ordering. And, okay, I think that's enough. Let's try. Okay, so now it's just a mistake. Okay, or some test events. So we see bunch of session. The first column is user pseudo ID. The second one is session ID, event timestamp, medium of session, is conversion. So we also don't need is conversion. And total conversions for the whole session. Yeah, and this is the way it works. You can use except is version. Yep. And that's I call a session table. It's just a bunch of session or bunch of touches with order of users and some session IDs with collected medium or with medium and with conversions. Uh, yeah, and basically that's it. Let's try to walk through again. We'll begin from making the flat table of hits. We're excluding technical events. We pick some conversion event. We number our hits within the session. And after that, we extract all the hits where hit number equal 1. That's it. And all we have now is the session table. And now we can get a lot of insights from this table in form of any custom attribution model with position-based principle. Because now you just can crunch all the numbers with some specific sources or some specific different dimensions. You can add device category or country or something like that, and redistribute credit of your conversion between these events. I hope it is straightforward and not so complicated for understanding. Okay, now I can answer some of your questions if you have it. Okay, I see there is no any question, but just feel free to ask it LinkedIn or in my Gmail. I mean, just send me some, you can send me some email with some question and I just answer you. That's not a big deal. So, but now we need to save it in the job query. Exactly, Luca, it's really, it's really valuable advice. Thank you very much. Of course, you need to save query. You think you just can save as query or save it as view. Uh, I just usually uh, try to save it in some view or in some serialized view with some append function. That's not a big deal. Yeah, we save it and that's it. After that, we can just can query it from this particular table. Okay, so I just save it and send it to you from I don't know GitHub or some different source. That's not a big deal, but yeah, it's really reasonable to save it in some query or on some view. We don't see a screen. Sorry. Yeah. Again, you can save view and just save it like a view. Okay. You can save it like a view, or you can save it like a query. Let's try again. Yep. So here are options. You can save it a query or save it at view. Save as a view. I always like to save it in the form of view. For instance, session table. Already exist. Okay. That's it. I think that's everything I want to tell you about session tables in BigQuery in form of topic of GA4 attribution models. Yes. So if you have some questions, just send me a message, send me email, and I try to provide you the most valuable feedback. And I want to give you something like a, let's say, homework. So if you want to get some feedback from me about your BigQuery GA4 attribution or work with your BigQuery data set, just try to set up your BigQuery GA4 export and combine your session table from BigQuery and send me, let's say, screencast link or something like that with your data set or with your session table. Yeah, and if you need it, I can give you a feedback. I don't know, highlight some drawbacks or something like that, but it's up to you. If you don't want to, I don't know, have a training, let's say, I just send you a code from GitHub, and you can crunch your numbers with some sort of custom queries from me. Yeah, I see the question. We also see the conversion window. No, conversion window we're gonna see in the second workshop, because conversion rate or conversion window, or let's say attribution window, I call it attribution window. It's something. It's a conception of. So it's more reasonable to use in some specific models like last click, last non-direct click. Uh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna discuss attribution window because it's really important concept. It's really important term, yeah, for the whole process of marketing contribution, but not today. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna save my video. Thank you very much for joining me. And I guess let's see the next week on the next workshop. See you guys.